So I was on the phone with my dad a couple of days ago, and this brings a resolution to the longest running narrative I've had this year. So I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast, but I've been very vocal in a lot of people outside of the podcast about my final tattoo. My final tattoo, before I got the one I have currently, was always going to be envisioned as like a melting clock that read the time of my birth. Like every tattoo on my arm has always been symbolic of like my heritage and like my history thus far. So I wanted that to kind of be the final piece. And I thought about it for a while. But the biggest thing that was holding me back was the fact that I had literally no idea what my time of birth was. No one knew. Mum knew, but she's passed. And I was like, okay, surely the only other person would know was my dad. Your birth certificate doesn't show your time of birth. The hospital doesn't have it on record. I tried everywhere. Cousins, uncles, aunts. No one knew. I asked my dad in January. All right, not to properly timestamp this podcast, but it's late October at the current time. All right, I asked my dad in January when I was in China. I'm like, hey man, like you're my father, so surely you've got to know roughly my time of birth. And he was just spaced. All right, he was just spaced at the time. He was just like, oh, dude, it could be anywhere between 10 a.m. to like 4 p.m. Like I don't know. Like then I got to factor in time difference because I was in China at the time. Like I don't know when I received the call / what time it was in Australia. Right, and this discussion in China in January lasted for about an hour of just me being like, damn it, Dad. Surely you must know. No one else knows. So from that point on, when I got back, I was like, okay, I got to come up with a new piece. I came up with a new piece, got a new tattoo, got everything, right? Now, comes to a couple of days ago, I'm on the phone with my dad. We're just talking. We're celebrating my birthday, actually, is what we're doing. He's just wishing me happy birthday. And he says to me, and if I can get this, happy birthday, yada, yada, yada. Do you remember when you were born? And I'm just like, oh boy. Where the fuck is this going? So I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? He's just like, oh, like I remember the details behind your birth. You know, it happened at about 2 p.m. And I'm just like, I stop him right there. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? 2 p.m. I asked you in January this year what time I was born, and you said you had no fucking idea. To which he then goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we never had this discussion. Like, if you had asked me, I would have told you it's 2 p.m., David, you fucking idiot. Now, the crux of all this is I couldn't genuinely get mad at him because he doesn't know I have tattoos. So I can't sit there and be like, I'm mad at you, Dad, for not telling me my fucking time of birth because what I wanted it for was a tattoo on my arm.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we resolved that plot already in January. I thought when you went and saw him, you were like...
He knows I have one on my chest. He doesn't know about the arm because every time I'm in China, it's winter. Oh. So I wear long sleeve every single time I'm in China. And I'm only ever there for about a week. So it's like, okay, I can justify a week worth of just jackets and long sleeve t-shirts, right? And then when I sleep, like I either sleep topless but like deliberately tucked in under the blanket, to which if he were to walk in the morning, I'm just like, hi, Dad, how are you? He's like, oh, you're going to get up and have a shower? I'm like, yeah, no, I'll get up and have a shower. Just you go and do your thing. But no, so I couldn't get mad at him for being like, you know, it's fucking 2 p.m. was when you were born. Like, and he was... And the brilliant part of it is he was vivid about it. He was mad vivid about literally every detail about my birth. He was like, oh, so it was 2 p.m. when I got the call, so which means it was 4 p.m. here when I got the call, and it was your mum was going into labor roughly around that time. All this blah blah blah. Oh, you got transported to the hospital by my good friend Uncle Joe, like something yada yada yada. I'm just like, are you and I'm sitting there on the phone. It was a warm
spring day, and the winds were just coming in from the east.
I literally he remembers what he's wearing, exactly what he's doing at the moment. Like,
he wasn't on speaker. I had it on my ear, and when he started to go into detail, I put my phone down. And I fucking physically face palmed like, this dickhead. I got this whole tattoo already designed. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the last tattoo I got. Like, it obviously still means a lot to me. But I had figured, and I had it in my head for the longest time that I wanted this melting clock with my time of birth. TLDR. Dad tells me my time of birth despite the fact, but doesn't know why I'm angry because I can't tell him I'm angry because I wanted a tattoo and he doesn't know I have tattoos. So here I am just sitting here pissed off at this vivid recollection of my fucking birth.
And you can't say anything about it.
And I can't say anything about it, but he swears we never discussed it. Piece of shit.
Dave, your tattoo looks cool. You need to get over this.
No, I'm over it. It's just that like vivid recollection, vivid recollection, despite the fact that I literally asked him point blank, dining table in China, face to face, yo, Dad, do you remember my birth? vis-a-vis
I feel like
time off.
Yes,
he was just
he's over it.
I
He's
feel like
totally over
I
it.
feel like he was just buying time so he can come up with a story.
Yeah,
that would-
it sounds like he was trying
I
to...
feel,
Yeah.
it feels like way too much time that he's just lingered on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I
sounds
feel like your dad's done a bit of porky pies on you.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to save face, right? And
Oh, it's
be-
very Asian to
because-
save
because-
face.
that's what I
So
mean.
like,
But I mean,
Lachlan's
but-
just throwing a spanner into the works.
But like, but like, you basically questioned your father's honor at that point, right? By saying, "What time was I born?" He's like, "I don't fucking know," right? You're questioning his honor. It's like, shit, I should know this. My oldest son.
and then he
right?
spent the last 10 months just like
Figuring it out. He's
figuring out,
fucking
like
A.
going to the hospital itself, like making these calls. You know what? Actually,
Imagine that.
John's onto something
That's
here.
exactly
That
what he's
sounds
done.
like a Chinese man, in my
That's
opinion.
what I mean.
Sounds like your dad.
Yeah, it sounds like what something my fucking dad would do.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
God,
that's what he's done.
Because I would do it.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
you
And so-
totally
and
would
so
do
to
it.
save face, he's totally bullshitting, which he can do because he's your elder. He can totally bullshit you and say, "No, that conversation never happened. What the fuck are you talking about? You're just a dumb kid," right?
Literally,
And then he can say,
literally what he said. He's just like, you're just a dumb idiot.
Yep.
Or not like a dumb kid. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, but he says it like that's his go-to when it's just like, we would have debates about just like genuine economical things.
Yeah.
And like it would be lively. And he would end it with, okay, if he's now knowing that, or he's now feeling like he's wrong at some point, he'll just be like, no, you're stupid. All right,
Yeah.
you my son, you're too young, you don't understand.
Yep.
Because they can't win.
They can't win.
can't
But
win.
it's like at the end of the day, you can't really say shit about it.
No, you can't.
You can't say
at that
shit
point.
about
That's
it.
it. That's it.
That's your old man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's respect right there. So you just got to be like, okay, Dad, I'm an idiot.
And
I'm
you're
an
done,
idiot.
and that's it.
And you're done at that
It
point.
shuts it down. And with that, welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish. And joining me this week is returning gimmick boys, Lachlan Beasley and David Yang. Welcome, boys.
Yeehaw!
and
Yeetus.
and the prodigal daughter returns. JJ, welcome.
Thanks, John.
So, moving
That
on.
was really cute, by the way. The gimmick boys just reached up, touched hands, and said, "I love
Eiffel
you."
Tower.
Eiffel Tower, I love you. That was
Eiffel
adorable.
Tower.
Yeah.
Woo. There was an off mic Eiffel Tower.
It wasn't that French.
Good moment. All right.
Good moment.
John, what's on the docket today?
All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, and this is something that's been sitting in the bank for a while, but like I feel like the reason why I've been sitting on it is because I've actually been trying. I've been deep in contemplation, right? I've been really.
Oh, no.
I've been seriously thinking about this, and I was like, oh, okay. So the question is, I'll ask the question, and I just want to give everyone. I don't want to answer it straight away. I just want to give everybody, I want to give the listener a moment to kind of contemplate it and kind of have a sit down and think about it, right? Because I think it's worthy of thought. If you could take one item from a celebrity, but you had to fight them for it, what and who would it be? Now, hold on, before we answer this, let's give everybody at home a moment. Let's think. Let that settle in. Let
When
it
I first came
pass
up with
through the neurons. Let it bubble in the back of your synapses and contemplate. And you've had enough fucking time. All right, go. So, Lockie, you said you've got a primo one for this.
This is Lachlan's discussion.
When I first came up with this, I'm still really into UFC, but this was when I was starting to get the bug.
When you were a proper UFC mark.
And then I saw, because I first got
Did I
into
use that correctly, Dave?
UFC Mark?
Yeah.
No, it works. It
Yeah.
works.
All right.
I don't think Mark is genuinely just a wrestling term. At least that's where I heard it from. But it can be like extrapolated out of that industry to just define a person that's like really into something.
I just needed
into
an up or down, yes, no.
subject matter.
Yes. Okay, cool. Keep
Okay,
going.
we'll keep going. And Conor McGregor was the first guy I first kind of watched, and everyone knows him to be very out there and boisterous and talk about what he's going to do to people and then hit people. But recently he's been taking more hits than giving them. But anyway,
To be
we'll move
fair,
on.
it's part of a long lineage within sort of fight culture of doing that.
That's exactly right.
He's following in the footsteps of the greats.
That's exactly right. And to celebrate his not win, but he fought Floyd Mayweather last year, and to celebrate that, he decided to buy a Gucci mink custom jacket that has a giant dragon on the back.
He
you can
won
look
that
it up.
fight, didn't he?
No.
Oh, I've
No,
seen
no,
that
right.
jacket.
No, he did not
That's
fight.
so-
He did
it's a
not.
cool
He
jacket.
did not win against Floyd Mayweather, who's now 51-0.
Wait, who am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking of Pacquiao and...
No,
that's
Floyd Mayweather
that's
has
a
not
whole-
lost.
Okay, right.
He is the greatest boxer to live.
So to celebrate... So what you're saying is Conor McGregor, to celebrate getting his ass handed to him...
But
bought
yeah,
a
he just
Gucci
made
jacket.
$150 million off
Yeah,
one
that
fight.
man brokered a deal. Like, win or lose,
you know
he
what?
really was
Like,
winning.
you know what?
He
I-
revolutionized
Yeah.
like fighter's power in discussion and negotiation. It is unheard of for a
yeah.
fighter from a different league
Yep.
and a completely different style of fighting to then go into another area and then challenge the greatest champion that's still living and then say, hey, yo, I can beat your ass.
Unpopular opinion, low key, and I know it actually wasn't on how the points were distributed on that fight, but he put up well.
Look, first 5 rounds, he took
First
some shots.
5 rounds. He was cheeky though. He was cheeky. He was taking unsolicited
He was throwing a lot of
headshots.
gorilla hits,
Yeah.
gorilla punches, which is when essentially your closed fist over the head,
Bang down on the head. Can't do that.
That's not good.
Can't do that.
Which
Straight
in boxing, in UFC, you can get away with that because when you're on the ground.
Can I pint pass UFC? Because I do not care.
Oh, well, you can't pass all of Lachlan's point then. That's firm. We can't dispute the pine pass. Bro.
All right. So you would fight Conor McGregor.
So essentially I would
what?
fight McGregor. Okay. The whole thing for it, but anyway. So Conor McGregor, I fight him for his Gucci mink jacket, which I think a lot of people would think, why? You're an idiot. Why would you want to fight a UFC fighter who's been training for years? And I think I've got decent ground game. I think I'll be able to at least hug him for a while, and then to tire him out because I'm going to play long strides. It's a street fight. Remember, I might have to use a chair or a bin, but I'll get the job done.
God, you might as well just sanction this in the WWE ring.
Yeah, essentially, I'll call you out. We'll tag team Conor McGregor, and then we'll at the end when we win, we'll take his Gucci mink jacket,
cut it right
in half,
middle.
and we'll wear it as a scarf and walk away.
So do you want to do like a full on like no DQ, right? No ref, just
Man,
three men walk in, one man walks away with
If
a
we're
jacket.
talking about this, probably it's going to be a street fight. I'm
Here's
going to need some ninjas. I'm going to need some help because honestly, when I first thought of this idea and I said this, I'm like, God, you're an idiot, Lachlan. Like, what? Like you've done Taekwondo for 4 years when you were 12. Like, no, like you can't be able to do this. No way. And then I thought, well, you know what? You're going to stick to your guns.
I'm just thinking about mine, and it's one I literally came with today. So GQ put up on their Instagram post. I don't know if you've sussed it, but it's Eddie Redmayne wearing a velvet on velvet.
I saw this.
Velvet suit.
I rate it.
Yeah, that was
I
Eddie
rate it.
Redmayne rocking a complete velvet fit.
And he looked dope.
And he looked fucking lit in that. Now, I'm just thinking about the logistics of a velvet on velvet on velvet. Like, the friction of that must be nuts. But like, I would actually fight him for that because that suit, bro, I don't know if you sussed it. And if anyone's listening to this, go on GQ, suss Eddie Redmayne's fit. It looks clean.
I love
There's only
it.
like one place on earth you could wear it, and that's like the middle of the Gobi Desert because like there is any amount of humidity and that suit is ruined.
I'm trying to think of something else. Like, is
I
it
thought
just clothing or is it a person's object?
Anything.
Any object.
Anything.
Oh, I would take on The Rock for his entire gym.
I was going to say, that's what you were going to say.
I would take on The Rock for his entire traveling gym. Have you seen his traveling gym setup?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard you talk about it
Oh,
extensively.
If he's
You know
in
what?
a
I
location,
want to change my answer to something a bit more serious, but go.
Well, you got a serious one? Oh, just let me finish. He has a traveling gym. We actually discussed it on an episode not too long ago. The man, every time he has a location that he's going to be at for like at least 3 months, he builds a gym there, like with him on set. Oh, and it's like it's properly fit out in a fucking
absolutely.
absolute tarp and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the man comes equipped.
It's a good idea because like one of his primary marketable assets is his body, right?
Oh, of course.
So
Do you reckon it's insured? Do you reckon
I'd
his
absolutely-
body is insured?
You can do that.
You
Celebrities
can. No,
do
I know
that.
you can. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I bet you it is.
because I would 100% argue that Terry Crews has insured his pecs.
I did say it.
Gotta have his pecs and his delts insured.
Yeah.
He has to.
He has to.
That's
Absolutely.
like his whole thing.
Yeah. No, I reckon he's got his whole body done.
Do you reckon Cillian Murphy has his eyes insured?
I hope so, because he's a beautiful man.
Because that's what stands out for me on Cillian Murphy is his eyes. He's got like some of the most like prominent eyes.
I can
Wait,
stare
say
at
it
him.
again.
Cillian Murphy. Is it not pronounced Cillian
It's
Murphy?
Cillian
It's
Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
It's Cillian
This
Murphy.
entire time.
Oh my God.
This entire time I've been calling him Cillian. Killian. Anyway, we all knew what I was fucking talking about.
He's,
No.
I mean, I don't,
No,
but
I do,
that's
and I
Peaky
think
Blinders.
I think he's the most beautiful man
Have
in
you
the
seen
world.
the latest meme of like him as the Bugs Life head and then it's Ant's head? Sorry,
And then
it's the Pringle. It's the
his
Pringles
brother in the
mascot,
show is
who's like he's got
Pringle
a mustache,
head.
but they just replaced his head with the Pringles guy's head.
You're
It's
talking about the main
so
guy from
fucking
Peaky
accurate.
Blinders, right?
Yeah, that bloke.
I know that guy.
But yeah, that bloke.
I'm too old.
It's
for these
amazing.
memes.
It's amazing.
Scarecrow in The Dark Knight.
Yes. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
to speak to you from my language,
Yes.
Scarecrow in the Dark Knight.
I agree. He has beautiful, beautiful eyes, and
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. He should have them insured.
I would love to know what the legality is to be able to walk up to like an insurance place and be like, okay, I have a very prominent feature on my body. I would like it insured.
There's
what's the criteria? Like,
there's insurance firms that do it.
that's
Yeah.
such a subjective thing.
They,
Like,
they do like voices and stuff too. And I think
I know that.
I think
But
there was
isn't that
some female
valuing
celebrity,
anything?
like there was an insurance company talking about it, and some female celebrity had their breasts insured, right? And honestly, like the reason being is like if they got breast cancer, they would have to get the breast removed. So basically, it turned into like health insurance at that point. So basically, you know, but like, yeah, you can totally do that. People have their like voices insured, like singers and stuff.
Well, it's just insuring your assets.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
considered
Literally.
an asset now
Yeah.
in the industry.
As ladies say, you know, you flaunt your assets. You make
Yeah.
sure you have
sure.
some insurance on
Yeah.
this.
And that's why like The Rock having a portable gym totally makes sense. And I think actually is like something that like people like Zac Efron should do, because Zac Efron's kind of going the same way. I think Zac Efron should get on the blower to The Rock and say, mate, like who's your guy? Because I want to start ordering some bits and pieces.
Do you reckon Zac Efron's on that like very, I don't want to say thin line, but the line of like, I want to call it traditional actor and then hard body actor. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
Like
is- no, he rides the
He
line.
rides that line where
He
it's
does.
like if he were to just commit maybe a couple more months in the gym, he would be considered hard body action actor.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Well,
right now
yeah.
he's on that line where he's still doing the traditional kind of very like, not B.
Why do
he's
you
mo-
always have these discussions? That it annoys me
what?
that you have these opinions on films and actors.
But am I not like low key? Like low key, he's that guy who's on the line. 'Cause
I
The Rock-
don't
The Rock
like
is
Zac
he's
Having the
having
Efron.
exact same career as Vin Diesel. It's just
I
a
don't
bit
like
bigger.
Zac Efron, so
Well, it's just fair. You've already
Fair.
used your Pint pass, though.
I'm
You
not
can't
going to
use
pass
again.
it. I just thought of I've actually been thinking about my answer to the question,
Zac
and I've come
Efron-
up with it.
Okay, do you want to go
I,
last
when
then? 'Cause I can go
when
next.
you said
Yeah.
when you okay, what I was gonna say was when you were making the point that Zac Efron's run at Disney was dead at, I think you said Baywatch. I think you said
No.
Baywatch.
I think when he okay. My point I was making was at least me perceived Zac Efron as still under that Disney kind of moniker. Obviously, he wasn't working with Disney, but that he had that veil of still Disney stink to him. That is well and
'Cause he
truly
did-
gone
I must
when
say,
he did Baywatch.
Well, he did the natural curvature that those kind of teen actors do if they're successful, where they kind of do the older teen dramas. So he did Charlie St. Cloud,
Yeah.
and then he did 17 again, and then he
Great movie.
But when
Great
he was
movie.
doing all those, it was still within that realm of someone you looked at him and you went,
What's
that's
that
Zac Efron.
movie that he did?
Neighbours.
Was
Neighbours.
that
That's
Neighbours
sweet.
and then the grandpa?
Bad Neighbours.
The grandpa movie.
Well, Bad
Oh,
Grandpa,
Bad
we did
Grandpa.
Rob De Niro.
Was that
Oh,
before or
that was
after
after
Baywatch? Was that
Baywatch.
before or after
No,
Baywatch?
because he also
Okay.
did that one with Adam. I forget the guy from
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine. He did
The
Adam and someone
the wedding date
need
one.
wedding dates or something. I forget what the movie's called. It was horrible. I watched it in the cinemas and
Oh,
it was
why
a
did you do that
comedy.
to
I didn't
yourself?
laugh once. I literally sat there
I
with
watched the trailer and I'm like, yep, that's the whole
I was
movie.
just
Done
like,
it. Thanks.
someone's trying to have sex in a sauna. That's funny.
I just don't laugh at Andy Devine, though.
No. I don't
It's
know,
hard.
man.
It's hard
I don't know,
for me.
man. So
He's a funny
did
dude.
He's a funny dude in person. Like, his Instagram is lit. But him in comedy movies, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me to laugh. Not every movie he hits with. That's what I'm getting at here. You might be able to pick one movie.
Workaholics was definitely his like.
Workaholics, yes. I
That's
agree
because
with
that was his brainchild. Like he's been working on that with his boys for years.
Low key, I don't rate it.
You don't rate it? That's
Don't
completely
rate it.
fair.
I like it.
I watched
it's
one
toilet
episode
humor.
and I went, this is a poor man's office.
I'm with you. No, I'm completely with you. It is
100%.
It is toilet humor office, which I'm completely fine
By the way,
with.
poor man's US office. Okay, like and I feel like that's saying something. And it's
But he did a Christmas film that was like a cross with Die Hard as well.
Oh, Game Over Man.
Game Over
That-
Man.
okay, that
and dude,
had
there's a
some
scene there
potential.
that I don't know if you probably haven't seen it.
haven't,
Though.
no.
There's a scene there where the burglars are like in the room and has to hide, but he he hides in the closet, and the door swings open and he's there naked with his dick completely out, just pretend to have necked himself through what's it called?
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, that's it. And he's for like the whole scene. The door's open. The burglar's just walking around there and going, "God, what happened here?" And he's playing possum with his dick out for like a solid 5 minutes. Like me and my mate Brad were just like rolling on the ground, like, "What is happening right now?" Like he's just like it just swings. The camera is just deadpan, so it's just Adam in all his glory. Just swing.
Like, proper full
Oh,
frontal.
dude, it's
But it was
I'm not
meat- it
sure
was all
if
meat
fluff
and veg.
if fluff happened.
You reckon there was a bit of fluff there? Like,
Well, like
if I'm an actor and I'm going into a full frontal nude
If-
scene, I'm fluffing.
if Jason Segel
I'm not
fluffed in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Adam Devine is going to fluff in this for sure. Like
Yeah.
he has to.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
it's 5 minutes with your dick out.
Yeah, no, you
But
gotta.
when you
gonna
translate
get
that
cold.
into production time, that's probably
That's
like
a couple of hours of dick
that's
out.
that's a couple hours.
That's like
yeah.
you got to fluff every 5 minutes you're
Yeah,
on
yeah,
set.
yeah.
Like at that point,
I love how
3
this
hours
went
shooting.
from like who would you fight for stuff to like, man, Adam Devine's dick, you know,
Welcome to
really
Pint
wet.
Fight.
Oh, welcome back. Anyway, so you'd fight Conor McGregor, you'd fight The Rock. All right, so I'll go next because JJ wants to think about it just a little bit more, right? And I've had time to contemplate this, and I seriously thought about it. So it's interesting because you'd fight someone who would 100% kick your ass.
Yeah.
You'd
No.
fight someone who would 100% kick your ass. I thought about it and I went, who's a celebrity that has something of value that I could theoretically kick their ass, right? And make it out. And I thought about it and I went, easy. I know the answer to this. Oh my God, it came to me in a moment of inspiration. I'd fight Martin Shkreli for the Wu-Tang album.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's what I do. Once upon a time, in
For
Shaolin,
the
I fight
audience,
for the album.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That is a high
So,
key niche.
Shout out
ref.
RZA.
So just to provide some context for people who might
RZA
have
and the
forgotten.
Jizza.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God.
So for people who might have forgotten, because he was a meme and now he's in jail, Martin Shkreli is a man who bought a pharmaceutical company that produced. I think it was a diabetes. No, it was an AIDS medication.
Yeah.
So a medication for people with AIDS, and it used to be sold at like $5 or $6 a pill, and he jacked up the price to $700 a pill. And basically, like when people were like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" He was like, "I'm the villain of the internet. Like, go fuck yourself." Like, basically, he tried to be the Joker, but he was shit.
He did a really bad job about it.
'Cause-
It was
yeah, 'cause
terrible.
he was a shitty little like pasty white boy, and so like you know,
And not as just a really bad Gollum.
yeah, he was just,
Yeah, that's
no
more accurate.
Gollum, like he was a poor
Yeah.
man's Gollum, absolutely right. But he had but at the same time, the Wu-Tang Clan were putting out
Wu-Tang.
were putting out an album, and they were trying to be like they were going full blown like art house with it, and also like trying to experiment with like the distribution of music and stuff. And they're like, okay, we're gonna make this album called Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, and we're only gonna make one album, like one actual album. We're gonna sell it, and it's to an auction. Highest bidder wins it. And Martin Shkreli being and by the way, and then basically you kind of essentially buy the rights to it as well. So you buy this album, and the idea what they had was that someone would buy it and take it to like museums for listening parties. So you would have to go to the Louvre or you would have to go to Melbourne Museum to listen to the whole
Oh, they
album.
put it. As
That was the idea.
That was the contract. So they specifically
No,
stated
no. That's what Wu-Tang.
It was just a one of one.
It was one of one.
Oh,
and
I understand
what
that,
They, and
Yeah, but then
what they-
Shkreli bought it and
Yeah.
just.
And then he's like, "Well, I'm gonna distribute this. Let's go."
no, but
No.
that's the thing. He didn't.
Oh, you never did.
He just kept it.
It's Shkreli. He wasn't going to do that.
No. So what Wu-Tang's original vision was that someone would buy it and take it around to museums and have listening parties.
Yeah.
And Wu-Tang fans were like, you know what? Yeah, I could probably wait until it came to my city. Like, that's fine.
Had anyone else had bought it, it probably would have actually gone that
Or
route.
the other thing Wu-Tang said is they could just straight up rip the CD and upload the whole thing for free on the internet, and like we would be fine with that too. Like it's like it was just an experiment in distribution of music.
Yeah.
Right. And Martin Shkreli paid $2 million and bought the thing. Right, and said, and basically at the time was like, nah, fuck yous, nobody's ever going to listen to this. It's going to sit sealed in my vault, right? Which Wu-Tang were like, yeah, dude, that's part of the contract. You bought the rights to it.
That was the theory we were prepared to
that's
dish.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the experiment, right? So there's a whole really complicated long contract. Dave, you should look at the contract because you can see.
That's what I was talking
It's
about.
a fascinating contract
Yeah.
because part of the contract is that the Wu-Tang Clan are legally allowed to attempt one heist to try and steal it back, right?
What?
Yep. So
That-
only members
what
of
a-
the Wu-Tang Clan.
that's so good.
Legally allowed?
Well, it's in the contract. So they
Oh,
can,
things can be in contracts that can be illegal.
it's technically illegal, but I don't think. But I think if people put it in for the fucking meme of it, and all parties agreed because it was a fucking meme.
Like the most interesting thing in that contract would be the idea of like you buy this, you have to take it to museums and stuff
Yeah,
like that. That'd
no.
be such a cool term in a contract.
No, that wasn't in it. It was just like no.
I think they just wanted to see what the populace was going to do with it if it ended up in
That's
the,
it.
in the ethos.
Yeah, and for me, it was a classic example of like people who don't understand the internet getting done by the internet. Because Wu-Tang obviously didn't understand how the internet worked, and we're like, we're going to do this really cool arty thing, and someone in the internet was like, nope, fuck you, because that's exactly what happened, right? And then they got done, And it sat in his vault. And every now and again, he would do these live streams being like, I'm going to play the Wu-Tang album. I'm going to play. And then it was literally just him just sitting in his office just working for like hours on end. Occasionally he'd get up and go pee and like be gone for like 2 hours and just leave the stream running. And people would be there watching the stream because he was like, I'm going to play it in the background. Never did. And then he got done for fraud.
Yeah.
And then almost like, I think he went to jail and stuff. He had to pay money. And people thought what was going to happen was because he had to liquidate his assets, that's a $2 million asset, that basically it would be seized by the US federal government and then auctioned off, right? Which meant the opportunity to buy it again would be there. And Martin, because he's a fucking, he saved it from liquidation.
He put it in trust or something?
I don't know what he did. He did like, they did some legal fuckery.
Yeah.
They got it out. So it's still in his hands. But I would.
This is the internet, like personified, in my opinion.
Right. But I would absolutely.
You're confident you can throw hands and win?
Even despite the fact that he's
shriveled
probably
man.
gotten a little hard in prison, I'd still fight him. I'd fight him today. Absolutely.
I reckon
I'd fight.
He wouldn't be
walk through that door right now, and I'd rip the shirt off and go him.
He wouldn't be in a hardened prison. I'm sure he'd be in something a bit cushier.
Oh no, he's absolutely in club fed. Yeah, he's just playing golf with the boys, right? And so that's what I mean.
You would actually win. That's probably the most legitimate answer.
Absolutely.
But
how would you win?
No, because,
what's your go-to move?
One-on-one street fight. I just we'll see.
You shouldn't need weapons.
No,
he's gonna need for a
just bare hands.
John's
right?
gonna have at least 60 kilos on him.
Absolutely I do.
John is 100% that scene in like The Simpsons where Homer's strategy is literally just to take the punches, wait for them to tire out, and then push them down anywhere.
Yeah. Yes, no.
I don't even.
Like you wouldn't have to exert effort.
John's gonna go one hit. It's gonna be like Jorge. And just like one hit, 5 seconds.
No, we'll
knockout.
He could do either, but that's what I'm saying.
There's all these rules and honors about fighting that like all this Marcus of Queensberry. That's all English bullshit. I'm a Scotsman.
No kicks to the groin before dinner.
No. When it comes to the violence, there's no holds barred. Right? That's it. When you're in the violence, there are no rules. Right, that's it. That you are in the violence. Right?
I feel like when
it comes to the violence, that's it. I'm just going to bring it to him. That's it. Groin punches, throat punches, everything I can do. Because for me,
every time you hit him, you're going to yell Wu-Tang.
Aussie Contra deserves it, so I don't really care how you guys about it.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
I'm actually look personally. I'm not a huge fan of the Wu-Tang clan.
You just want a $2 million asset that you can get basically for free.
Give it back.
I just want the album because what I would do is the exact opposite to what Martin did. I'd put it on the internet for free. I just throw it up.
You're such a socialist. Give it to the people.
No.
That's what I would do.
No, for the meme of it, I would create a SoundCloud account and be like, "Hey boys, follow my SoundCloud," and it's all the Wu-Tang album.
And you release song by song until you hit certain subscriber marks?
Nah. I just put it all up at once. I'd Netflix that shit, right? But just for the meme of it, I'd create a SoundCloud account just for it, right? And just like whenever like a tweet goes viral, I'll be like, "Sus my SoundCloud," and it's all Wu-Tang songs.
Hey guys, like and subscribe
because that'd be funny, But then I'd actually give the actual album itself. I'd probably donate it to like I don't know Melbourne Museum or something, right? Just to get for the tourism. Right, and if Wu-Tang fans want to come and listen to the actual album, they got to come to.
Dude, Wu-Tang is 100% playing the long game here because all of this is adding to the heritage of the album.
It absolutely does.
Right?
Hells yeah.
Wu-Tang is playing the game of 30 years from now when it obviously does get distributed.
Yeah.
Then it has that much more value to it because this happened.
The last gig they played here was at the Opera House, which was like pretty dope.
Oh, dude, Wu-Tang, man, they're just like, do they go on the annals of like all-time music?
Yes.
Yeah, like straight up, like no question about it.
They're like a business team that also rap. Like they're so on. Like they play chess in their spare time.
There you go.
Like they constantly are always working to either do something musically or like give back to the community or one way or another.
They're truly innovative from a business perspective on music. Like their music obviously is really good and well produced. Their business approach to music.
Their promotion is really strong as well.
Yeah.
The fact they've even said earlier on, they're like, we leaned into the skid of the whole Shaolin Wu-Tang kind of like,
Oh my god!
36 chambers kind of stuff.
RZA wrote a whole book called The Tao of Wu.
Yeah, exactly right.
Of Wu-Tang. I think it's called, The Tao of Wu-Tang, which I looked at and as like I was just like, oh, that's a little bit offensive, but okay, yeah. So he did that. That was the thing he did.
JJ, do you have any opinions on Wu-Tang Clan?
I've never listened to their music.
So
I have no idea what it is.
Who the fuck is Wu-Tang Clan?
No, I'm with you. Like, I'm not a big Wu-Tang fan. Like, personally,
Triumph is the best song.
I actually like RZA as an actor more than
I have no idea who that is either.
Do you know Method Man?
Nah.
Nah. Wait a minute. Did you? Oh wait. What might have you seen? Oh god. He did a few movies and he did some TV. He was in Californication for a season. As what did he call himself? Samurai
watched that
Apocalypse.
either.
No. Okay. He was in a few movies and stuff. Anyway, as an actor, I liked him more. I like him more as an actor. That's what I know him better for.
Their collab with Logic was pretty high key though.
Yeah.
That's. I know.
I fucked with.
I know we won't spend too much time because we can't really bring
Yeah.
Jordan into this.
No.
But it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really good.
My point being, I'd beat the shit out of Martin Shkreli.
Yeah. Right.
And if he ever
1-2.
if he ever gets
KO.
out of jail and he's allowed to leave the United States, absolutely. You can
Call
come
outs here.
Come down here anytime.
John McLeish will fire.
I'll fight you.
You begged
Absolutely.
the whole discussion here that we should have after JJ says her piece about like rules of street fights.
There are none.
No,
There
because
are
I think
no
there
rules.
should be. There are unwritten rules in street fights that you see but don't see.
There's no eye gouge, no hits to the ground.
No eye gouging, no kicks to the groin, home before dinner.
See, I
Right,
think
like-
that you're thinking too much into it. Just make Street Fights like the rules of Street Fighter the game, and there are no rules in that game.
But I'm not
and
saying
that's
that
like end of
fatality,
discussion.
bro.
No,
End
that's
of
Mortal
discussion.
Kombat, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I'm not going Hadouken.
Hadouken. That's what you do.
Not for you. I'm
See, we're
Ken
talking
all
about
the
Mortal
way.
Kombat. I got you
No, I'm
covered,
Ken
man.
all
I
the
love
way,
that series.
Bro. Ken is the best Street Fighter character.
Hadouken.
Oh, did it have to be a real person, or could we beat up fictional people for their own?
Well, like,
because I would take on Nathan Drake for all his collection of fucking like historical artifacts.
Yeah, if you want to.
Right, like-
Nathan Drake's ass.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, I could fuck Nathan Drake. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh, anyway.
No, you could absolutely fuck him. Would you beat him up though? I don't know.
I don't think you would.
Yeah, I don't think you could win in a fight, but you could totally fuck him. Yeah, I think.
No,
What
he'd
I
be-
said,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
Nathan would be cool
My
with
words
that.
were wrong. Sorry. You could not beat him in a fight. I'm sorry.
he'd be fucking
See where
me. Let's all
your
be
see where
honest.
your mind's at.
You
Lachlan.
can't physically fuck him because he is a fictional character, but like maybe at cosplay. I don't know.
You don't know where technology stands currently.
Hey man, you've clearly never seen
Technology's
like,
led the way in all of. Well, pornography has led the way in technology, as,
Well,
as
I was
far
gonna
as
say
I
that
know.
What if he leads the way in everything?
There is a man in Japan married to an anime character.
Hell yeah, there is.
You know, and then there's a dude in England married to a chicken McNugget.
Japan exists in their own sphere, and I love it. The laws
Whatever
of the
happens,
world
no
do
hold
not
bars.
define
Doesn't
it.
matter. You live your life your way.
That's right.
JJ?
Okay, I thought about this.
Oh, she's gonna
And
have
then
the best one.
when you brought up fictional characters, I'm kind of on the fence. But I'm going to go with my initial pick.
Yeah.
Is that I would fight Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Because
Okay, for what?
For what?
Game of Thrones, she took one thing from the set.
Yeah.
And she took do you remember in the last season that dope jacket she had, the
Yeah.
leather one with the cape? I'd
Yeah.
fight her for that because it would fit me. Because we
would,
are
actually.
the same
That's
height.
true.
We,
That's true.
Yeah, but I feel-
I didn't
I
think
feel
about
the
it.
same
Same build, yeah, overall.
Yeah,
are you there? Because I feel like she's a bit more swole. Than you
she's
are.
swole, but
She's
height-wise.
swole now,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Dude,
when
she's
she's wearing that fit,
dude,
she'll
nah.
swole.
She wouldn't be the
She's
same
still
level
So,
of fitness.
and so I think I could fight her because I wouldn't. I see. The thing is, because I'm so small, if I wanted to fight someone big, I would lose. And if I'm going to pick a fight, I want to pick a fight I can win. And
Well,
I'm
now, hold
convinced
on.
I can
No,
fight.
I mean, but that just means you fight within the same sphere that we're all technically fighting.
No.
Like,
Let's just see the way, like, we're out of different weight classes here. I feel like Jordan's in the same weight class.
No. Bruce Lee says to be like water and to use the weight of your opponent against them. So you could fight the Rock and beat the Rock theoretically.
No, thank you.
it's all about your strategy.
I want to be the Rock's friend. I don't
How
want
would
to
you
fight
take
him.
on Macy then? Like, she's nimble. We've seen her in the show.
Yeah,
Right.
and
You're gonna have to
that's
And
take
how
the-
would you even know you're fighting the real
No,
Macy?
you're gonna have to take
Okay.
the back.
She could be wearing a mask or a face.
But even outside of all of that, like she was working out for that show, and I feel like she probably hasn't lost the fitness.
You're
she's
gonna have to
got
use your
on the show.
agility and speed and take her back.
I have that.
That's it. Yeah, you couldn't
She
you
killed
couldn't
the
brute
Night
strength
King.
it.
You're gonna have to choke her out.
I can do that.
You have to take her back and choke her out.
I am surprisingly fast.
No,
Yeah.
I think you have to use her strength against it.
Yeah,
Choke her
no.
out, you would have to. That's a strength contest.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you'd have
Not
to.
if,
you have to- you
not
have
if
to-
Jordan
I reckon
takes her
you're not
back.
even playing
Not
strings.
if Jordan takes her back. If she goes for a grab and Jordan swings under, takes her back, goes for a choke.
Yeah, I reckon you got to play defensive.
Yeah,
100%.
that's
Yeah,
You
like,
do not
that's-
lead the offensive.
Oh hell no!
And you play the mind game.
That's never my strat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that whenever I play a video game.
That's true.
I'm
No,
always
you're
on
very
I'm always on the defensive. So like I've mastered that skill over many
Yeah.
years. I know what I'm doing.
You deliberately go last in Mario Kart only so you can get that shelter. Last minute.
100%.
That's your strat. You're defensive up until the final lap.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah, and I
yeah,
respect
so
that
I reckon I
strat.
can do that.
Yeah.
But if we were talking about fictional characters,
Okay, all right, here we go.
that's a different story
She'll take on Arya
entirely.
Stark.
No, I wouldn't. I would not go anything near Game of Thrones because I think that's a bad idea. Because I would get stabbed or frozen or burnt in a fire.
Fair.
Okay.
I would fight Saitama from One Punch Man because of the
What
reason.
the fuck?
No, because of the reason that if I asked if I could wear his costume, he would just let me.
No.
Wait. So okay. Now we're,
So I
we're
would-
working without the
so-
technicalities
so
here.
I-
Like,
so-
Can we all
wait.
team me up on this? Because
No,
like
no,
I
no,
hate
no.
this
So
idea.
here's my thing. I wouldn't fight him.
oh, did you?
I would ask him nicely.
Oh, we didn't even consider this pre-game bullshit. What, we can settle out of court now?
And then
I'm just talking to
I
Rock
could get
before
his
I fight him
costume
then.
because he would just make a new one.
Oh my god. Okay, I changed my pick. I'm going up to the Rock and be like, hey man, can I train in your gym? Oh, goal achieved. I get his gym.
Peace
I
will
reckon
win.
he would do that because I think
Yeah,
I think
I reckon
Zac
he'd
Efron
respect that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like he's not using all the machines all the time.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, excuse me, or I'll fight you. And then he'd laugh and feel bad and give me his costume, then make another one. So technically I win.
He'd probably ask you to go get some ramen.
Yeah, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I love
true.
ramen. So yeah, I think that's a good pick for me.
That's such a cheeky answer. She's not even fighting. I respect that. That's such a lawyer.
You know me as a person.
No,
like,
that's
I,
not.
if I
If you
can
can
avoid
use your mind, no,
confrontation,
it's fine. No.
Unfortunately, you'd have to fight Conor McGregor for that.
Oh,
There's no two ways around that.
He's gonna win the verbal game as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
No,
guess
he
what-
wouldn't even go to a verbal
he's gonna
game.
say something. So I'm gonna be like, ha, good one. Like, it's
I
just
just
not- it's not gonna
I
end
just
well.
want his costume 'cause I think it's dope, and I want his cape. No other reason, and he would make a new one.
Yeah, fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, you've avoided the fight. That's the goal, really. You got the item, avoided the fight.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. We got every hit of the spectrum here. I think we hit from all ideas.
I've
We
gone
got
I've
on
gone
this.
from both ends of the spectrum. Then I feel like that's a good,
No, in terms
well-rounded
of
maneuver.
in terms of in terms of completing the goal, you've done well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if I can avoid any confrontation, I will do it.
No, absolutely. No. Yeah, no. That's some real like Avatar: The Last Airbender like shit.
I
Absolutely.
recently just started watching that
So
for
did
the first time, and I'm like, ah.
Oh my god, it's so good. Me too. I'm on
Yeah.
my first watch through too. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I've got lots to say about Avatar. I always have things to say about Avatar. It's such a good show.
I've just started
you
watching
gonna
it, and I think it's the best show I've ever seen. I love it.
Have you
It's
seen
so
it, Dave?
great.
I haven't personally seen Avatar. I know. I personally haven't seen
Jump
it.
onto it. It's worth watching.
I know.
I must say the first season
I
is
fuck
a
with
bit.
Dragon Ball, though. I've always been a big Dragon Ball guy.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like they're two different.
I know, that's what I'm
things.
saying. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not... The apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Apples and oranges. Right? But all I'm saying is when it comes to, like, anime all-encompassing,
Yeah.
I was a boy who fucked with Dragon Ball.
No, me too.
Yeah.
Specifically for me, it was Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
That was like that.
I
was
went
it.
Dragon Ball Z first, then went back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I did the same thing.
Dude, Dragon Ball Z defined my childhood.
Yeah.
Like,
That and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, wait, did you?
And a bit of Digimon, too.
I was a Digimon
I was watching
kid.
Cheese TV before I had to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Fucking A.
Fuck
so,
yeah.
So that was Pokemon,
God, that's the most
Dragon Ball
Australian
Z, and
thing.
Digimon. Yeah.
I still don't know what Cheese TV is.
Oh my god.
Cheese TV is like early 2000s to like almost.
It's
almost
Whereas you
2000s.
guys will have no idea that what CBBC is, and that shit was amazing
Yeah, true.
when
She's
I was a
across the
kid.
pond this
Yeah,
year.
No, CBBS. Yeah, my little sister watches it.
CBBC,
Yeah, that's my sister watches that. It's on
That's-
cable here.
CBBS is.
Oh, yeah.
CBBC is not.
Is it not the same thing? Well, they were the same thing.
No, CBBS is for little kids.
Oh, yeah, just-
CBBC was for the bigger kids who wanted to watch Blue Peter and the story of Tracy Beaker, the fucking best show I've ever seen in my entire life. And that means nothing to you guys, and I love it.
Yeah, righto, mate.
Most underrated kids show of all time, Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, fuck yes.
Just straight up.
Amazing show. I
Straight
love that
up.
show.
So
I love that show.
George Shrink. Oh my god. Have you seen George Shrink? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, what the fuck is that?
Oh my. Okay, let me explain this. So it's about a kid who was born. I forget if he's shrunk or if he's.
Well, its name's George Shrink, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Are you with me on this?
No, I don't remember the show.
Oh,
at all.
you by
my
yourself
God,
on this,
by
motherfucker.
myself? Okay, so it's about a little kid, but he shrinks himself down, and he goes on lots of little adventures. But he has like all these like matching cars and airplanes to get like.
That's dope.
He goes on sick adventures. It's dope.
Have you guys ever heard of a show called Williams Wish Wellingtons?
What the fuck?
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's about this. It's about this little kid called William, and he has a pair of Wellington boots that he gets.
Were they red?
Yes, and then makes a wish, and then that wish happens. So every episode is a new wish for William.
I've seen the concept,
and it's fucking amazing.
Actually,
I
you know
remember
what?
that show. Yeah, it was on ABC, like close to 6
Yes,
o'clock at
and
night.
it is incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What was better, morning TV or afternoon TV when you got home from school?
Afternoon
TV.
TV.
Morning
I'm
TV
with you on
on morning TV on Saturday, afternoon for the rest of the week.
For me, it was afternoon because nothing tops recess, man.
Oh fuck! Oh,
Well, you had
Coming home.
See, you
Yeah,
went.
all right,
see,
rich
you're,
kid.
you're on
4
the
o'clock.
cable. Like I didn't have the
Yeah, me
Foxtel.
neither.
I didn't have the Foxtel when I was
Oh,
younger.
then what were you guys watching?
I was on
after?
the ABC. I was
Me
on,
too,
On
yeah.
the 1, 2, 3.
I was on English TV, but afternoon
Around
TV
the
was
twi-
better
around
because
the
it
twist.
was
Around the twist.
Art
Around
Attack,
the twist.
and then
Oh,
Smart,
it's my
and then
jam.
Tracy Beaker, and it was my afternoon. It was beautiful.
Even
Fun
take
fact-
out the shows for a second. I just think the vibe of sitting down after school was better than the morning.
That's
one.
what I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the kids' version of kicking off your shoes with a beer.
Yeah.
You just do it with your TV and your milk, and you
Yeah.
have this snack.
And that's why for me, like,
I had my
Saturdays-
juice box and my snacks. I'm like, hell yeah, this is
Yeah.
a great day to finish
And you
school.
don't start homework till 6. That was my rule. Got home 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock. That's
I like to
to
smash it out early. I tried to do it in the first hour.
I got home, had a snack, and then I would do my homework, and then
I never did my homework.
Yeah, Johnny.
Like,
Little side-
seriously, as a side note, in year 8, my science teacher was pissed at me because I never handed in a single piece of homework, but I got an A+ on every test. so I came out of that class with a B, and she's like, "It would have been an A if you did your homework." And I'm like, "I didn't do my homework and I passed." Like, it's my method works.
There's correlation here.
There's
See,
a- yeah, like, so yeah.
my homework was usually just reading a book, and I do that anyway.
Book.
So
a what?
reading a book.
Okay.
You heard it too?
Yeah.
But like,
Don't judge my weird way of saying words sometimes.
Which and also because you were talking about like Disney TV and stuff on cable, I can get around that, but not for like weekdays. For me, that was every second Saturday at my mother's house because she had Foxtel, right? And I would watch it Saturday afternoon. They do like the reruns from the week, right? So I'd be watching Recess. Fucked with Recess so hard.
Dude, the
dude.
Recess
love
movie,
Recess.
low key, is
Right?
brilliant.
That
So you're
It
telling me
is.
you missed out on recess and what is it? Kids Next Door.
Kids Next Door.
Codename Kids Next Door.
Codename Kids
Amazing.
Next
I
Door.
love that show.
Yeah, Kids Next Door, Recess, Kim Possible. Those are the three that stick out of my mind.
I just want to put it around the twist for a second. Just how good that show
Oh
was.
fucking A, that was good.
Like fun
that
fact.
and Hey Arnold, because I think they were on at the same time.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
My so Around the Twist was known for being a little bit quirky and out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Fucking A it was.
Oh wow, yeah.
My
They really
my
have social
family
issues.
friends. So like. Pretty much who I consider like a mother figure, Roz. She is. So I'm best friends with her son Ben. She got the one of the episodes taken off the air because it was the episode where one of the kids gets pregnant with a tree baby.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I remember that one.
Because he pees on a tree.
And he pees on a tree. So there's like all the symbols of like, don't pee on trees. This shit will happen to you. And she saw this. She saw Ben watching this. Was just like, oh, this cannot be on television. And then fully wrote like a letter, like a handwritten letter to the ABC and
Oh my
got the
God.
episode pulled.
Was that her?
Yeah, that was her.
Holy shit. Because I remember watching that episode when it came out.
And it never came out again.
Dude, that was like the episode me and my whole family talked. We were like, this is like, so for me, Round the Twist was like an introduction to avant-garde for children, right? And that was like peak avant-garde.
Absurdism for little kids.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
for me,
My
absurdism
first starter
was like Rugrats, the episode where Chucky ate a watermelon and then the watermelon seeds and then they grew a watermelon tree out of his stomach, and I was so terrified.
Dude,
Fucking
my
A, Rugrats.
absurdism starts with Cat Dog.
I love
Fucking
Cat
love-
Dog.
And there's that
Cat
show
Dog.
Monsters where like the monster has like two eyes.
Are real monsters.
Also,
Are Real Monsters?
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That
was
to me
fucking
is
dope.
like childhood abstractism.
I love that
to a
show.
T. That show was fucked.
That show was fucked.
That shit got real dark. Holy fuck.
And like it was intended to be too, which is
Yeah.
really
And
interesting.
I thought it was amazing.
I
Yeah.
only watched it when it was on in the middle of the day. I never watched because they would.
I couldn't watch it
They would
past
do
7.
like they would do like an Adult Swim where they basically rebroadcast Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I'd be like, nah, not watching that.
Oh, it's such an interesting progression to think like. You know, you had Nickelodeon versus Disney back in your childhood. Then you moved to Adult Swim pretty quickly in your teens, and now we kind of just float around in our adult years, just like going
now
going
it's just
back
like,
or
what's
doing
on
new TV.
Netflix?
What's on Netflix,
Yeah.
Well, not-
right?
No, I never had any of that for
Yeah,
me. It was
no,
sort
I
of
was
like
on- I was on the,
I consumed all of it, and then
Frequency channels.
Yeah, that's it. It's like every other weekend I would consume
Free to air.
So what was the big
Otherwise-
ones on free to air then? Like,
So like ABC, Channel 9, and I think Channel 7 did.
Channel 7 had the
Channel
big
7
Saturday
had
morning.
Disney. Saturday Disney or whatever
Yeah.
it was for a bit. That was pretty average, but I think Cheese TV was
Yeah, you had
the king
Cheese
of
TV.
That was
morning.
on Channel 10.
And then it became Toasted TV in like 98, 99.
No, it was 2000 odd.
Oh, it was 2000,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Um,
and it was shit. Like I saw the first episode of Toasted.
It was
and
just
they
a
were
big
like,
advertisement for Wet n Wild and stuff
It was
for Dreamworld.
Yeah, it totally was. Because they're like, "Hey, we're at Dreamworld for the first episode." I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool like intro for your first episode." And they were there again. I'm like, "You there again?" By the fifth
Our
episode,
studio's here.
Yeah. And by the fifth episode, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, just give me the fucking cartoons.
that's Channel 10, yeah?
Yeah.
Do they own it? Dreamworld? Because they do a
I
lot
think
of stuff out of
they
Dream.
must have had a part ownership, or they must have
Because
had
they
Yeah.
did.
Well,
Big
not
Brother
not
out of
not
there,
not
like-
anymore.
No, not anymore.
Not
But
anymore.
yeah.
No, we don't talk about Dreamworld anymore. For audiences that don't know, how long ago was
It was
it?
about a year ago.
About a year ago.
Bit longer,
a
wasn't
tragic accident on the rapid
yeah.
rumper ride. I don't know
people
what it's
drowned.
called. 4 people drowned because the mechanic stuffed
Oh, it
up.
was a couple of
Which
years
is
ago.
Yeah, it was a
scary
few
because
years
when it
ago.
happened, I was literally on that ride maybe a year before that, and even then I was like, "This is fucking sketchy."
You know what's
I was
sketchy?
just like, someone could die on this, and then I was just like, when it happened, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh
what
no.
Yeah.
But apart from that, those theme parks have done a good service to Australians.
I love
think.
Movie World.
You know what? It's a good bit of fun.
I love
it's,
Movie World.
It's no Disney World or Disneyland. I'll tell you, it's
I've
no
been there
Six
as well,
Flags,
yeah.
but it's pretty good.
I've never gone to Movie World.
Me neither.
I thought you would
fuck
guys would
so
be. I definitely
high-key
thought
with
you'd
Movie
be
World.
a fan.
I am. I've just never had the time, or like I never found myself there and then had the time while I was there to just go suss it. I've done Universal. Universal's pretty lit.
No, I never done that. The
Dude.
only one I've done is Six Flags in California.
Yeah.
I've done
Magic Mountain.
I've done Disneyland in Paris. I've done Disneyland in Florida. I've done Universal in Florida, and I'm going to Disney World in Japan and before the end of the year. So
Dude,
Yeah.
Disney World in Japan is no fucking joke.
I love
went
it.
Past
Flex
it.
more.
I went past it on my way to Makuhari Messe
Universal.
to go to TGS, and like that shit, like okay,
I'm so excited.
So it's on a train line, right? And it's like I would say it's probably as far away from Tokyo as like here in to put it in Melbourne perspective, like as far out as like maybe or Box Hill. You know,
It's
kind
not
of
far.
Springvale-y, kind
not
of
far
from
out.
Waverley. It's not that far, but it's at least like 7 stops out from like Tokyo, and so it gets like it's packed on that train, right? And I get on the train, and this is like when it was summer too, so it's fucking hot, and it's packed as shit, and I'm like, wow, there's like a lot of people on the train. Second, we get into because Disney has its own train
Yeah.
station naturally, right? It's not its own train, but it's like across the street. Train empties out.
Yeah.
And I was like one stop beyond it, and it was just an empty train at that point.
I'm so excited.
Holy shit! So what I'm saying is that like you know prepare like embrace your inner sardine when you go to
Good
Disneyland.
thing I'm small and I'm squished everywhere
When-
anyway.
which
Yeah,
one
no,
has-
you're good. You're actually pretty good.
Which one
You're
is the
good.
big fuck off Hogwarts?
Orlando had the first one, but now there's one in Tokyo.
There
There's
is one in
one.
Tokyo,
There's
okay.
one in
There's one in Paris as well.
Paris. There's one in LA as
Wait,
well.
is that Disney? No, I thought that was it.
That's Universal.
I'm thinking Universal.
Wait,
Yeah.
isn't the big Hogwarts
Well,
thing
the-
in Anaheim?
Well,
No.
the actual.
No, the
have
big
you
massive
been-
the big massive OG one is in Orlando, and I've been there twice.
Have you been to the Harry Potter world in the UK? That is
Yeah, of course I have.
Harry Potter World.
Yeah,
in
dude,
They
UK.
have like
it's
the
like the
set
studio,
tour, and
dude,
it's
it's
amazing.
Is that not what
It's-
we're
it's
talking
like-
about?
No, I think that's what I'm
Harry
thinking
Potter,
of.
Harry
So
Potter,
this is like
Harry Potter
45
theme park. The Wizarding
Yeah.
World of Harry
You can
Potter
get, like-
theme park in Orlando has like
Butterbeer
big,
there.
massive Hogwarts replica, big, massive, awesome simulator VR ride on the inside. There's a big, massive fuck off coasters. You can walk through Hogsmeade. Then they have like a train that goes in between Hogwarts Express that goes in between Diagon Alley, which is in the original theme park, and Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
And there's like rides in there, and it's amazing. It's so good. I love it.
You'd love the actual. Like, if you go to the studio, the Harry Potter world that's in the UK, man. Like
That's what I'm thinking of.
that's where they've got all like
Actual set design stuff.
Aragog. Oh, what's the
Spider?
Spider?
Aragog.
Yeah,
They
he's
have
there.
Buckbeak as well.
Yeah, like Buckbeak. All the props are there. Like, it's super cool.
They
You
have
get-
Privet Drive with all the letters in the room
Yeah,
for when they
the-
explode from the
the actual
fireplace, and
trains
it's
there, it's pretty
really
sick,
cool.
yeah.
God, that IP just makes money despite itself.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck,
Like,
I love it.
it's
Yeah,
making
no,
it-
it's so
It's
good.
making more money in the actual franchise. Than
Yeah,
the name
the,
rather than the
it
film.
will 100% make more money than the movies ever did.
Well, the films are just an add-on to
Yeah.
like what the world is,
Oh,
which is really cool. Like
Yeah.
the stage show.
When
Once you hit
it's
stage, you're-
it's incredible. It's It's so amazing.
You have to see 2 sessions for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched it on a Saturday, so like one in the morning, then one in the evening. It was the greatest thing we've ever seen on stage. It was
Is that your theory?
incredible.
Once it hits stage, it's like pretty good.
It's pretty intruded into
like
the
it's hit
ethos
every
of
fucking medium
it-
possible.
it's so
That
niche,
show made
like-
me. That show reaffirmed my thing that magic
Stage
exists. Because literally, there was some stuff in that show. I have no idea how they pulled it off.
Is Harry Potter the only IP to really just do everything?
No.
Like books, film, television, like an actual theme world in the physical world.
Well,
now stage.
Lion King's done it.
Lion King's done it
did
as
it.
well. A book? Like a series of books, Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was books for Lion King.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like Simba Tales or something.
Yeah, fair.
Not like novels, but like, you know.
Oh, yeah, not
Like
full-
Lord of the Rings hasn't done stage yet.
Lord of the Rings will never.
no, I think
Lord
it
of the
has.
Rings hasn't, and I don't
Hasn't
think
it?
it ever will.
I don't think it ever will. That's what I'm
I think
saying.
it's
Like,
too. It's almost too compact.
It's too
in
big.
Its lore.
It's also too.
It's well too
Big.
big. But that could work in its favor if it
I
were
say the
just
same
do
thing about
something.
Star Trek
No,
though.
no.
Like, is it too big to bring to stage? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's done a Star Trek.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Well,
people
okay,
would have
so-
made their own Star Trek plays,
We're
their own
talking
Lord of
of
the Rings
magnitude.
plays.
Yeah,
Like-
so-
But like physical touring, what global shows?
Yeah.
No way.
No, I think because also like keep in mind, I like you couldn't do Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, absolutely not. But you could do a Lord of the story set in Middle Earth.
That's what I was getting at.
For
Yeah,
sure,
because it's so big.
And to talk
imagine
to
a
your,
drama in Hobbiton.
right?
Just like a local
That's
drama.
what I mean. You could no, you
I could be cast in that
Dude,
because I'm.
you could do a funny as fuck comedy just set in Hobbiton, right? About because like they have one government service in Hobbiton, and it's the postal service, and it only exists to send dinner invites between people. And the highest insult you can give to another Hobbit is to not invite them to your dinner party.
That's your plot.
Right?
Yep.
So, so you could do a total like comedy of errors where like the postal service fucks up and somebody doesn't get their dinner invite and they're like, "What the fuck, man? Like you didn't invite me to your dinner? Like what the fuck, bro?" And like chaos ensues. You could totally do a
And
comedy
then they
like
break out in
that.
a song and dance. How has this not been done yet?
You can totally do it. And
Someone
to,
hire us
We
to
own
write
this
your
IP.
musical.
We own
They
this
run. They
IP.
run away. They run away to the. They go to the prancing pony and just
Yeah.
drink themselves. Just,
That's right.
just
Welcome to
sit
the Prancing
still and
Pony,
that's
where
the
we
third
drink
act.
Yeah.
lots and lots.
And then everyone rocks into the prancing pony. It's like, we're sorry, we
It
didn't
worked.
invite you. They have a big party then, like a Hobbit thing. Oh,
And at the
amazing.
end, Gandalf arrives and then makes
Fireworks.
makes
You're
smoke
welcome,
show.
Tolkien.
No,
The idea
this,
is-
this is all happening after, just after.
After he's gone off with the
after
elves.
they've gone off. No.
You don't want there to be a big fuck off catastrophe in the world. You want this to happen when there's a bit of a lull.
This is
the drama.
this is like 2 weeks.
This is the drama.
This is like 2 weeks after
the
Bilbo
earth
Baggins'
stood
birthday
still.
party.
Yeah.
The Hobbits still argue.
No, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So like Frodo and everybody's because you could keep in mind the first movie takes place over what months,
Yeah.
right? So you've got a good. You could have like and you could have this play take place
I
over.
feel like this would
a week.
translate well to stage as well.
It would.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It would.
Keep
That's
it really
fucking-
tight. Yeah.
Book
you
it.
don't worry about the larger world. This is just a little Hobbit tale. It's a little vignette, right? But to your point about Star Trek and having plays, there are plays, Star Trek type plays. So there's a reference in a Star Trek episode. I think it was in Next Gen.
Here we go.
Where
Here we go.
Sorry I asked
Strap
everyone.
in.
I'm sorry I asked everyone.
Basically, they talk. They were talking about Shakespeare because Captain Picard, which is played by Patrick Stewart, he's very prim and proper Englishman. Oh, Shakespeare is.
He
just
was
a
like
thing.
the Shakespearean actor for like a long time.
Yeah.
He was the dude.
He is the dude. Yeah.
If you want
we're
King
up there
Lear or
with it.
Hamlet,
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff, right? You
Get
know.
him.
To be or not to be, that is the question. For it is better in the mind. Blah blah blah. Right, and so he does all this.
Great
stuff.
Patrick Stewart impression, John.
Yeah.
You really nailed that.
Yeah. And then Worf, who's a Klingon character, who's like basically like they're like a warrior race, and they're all like real beef boys, right? And he's like, yeah, that was pretty good, but it sounds even better in the original Klingon, right? Shakespeare, right? And by the way, the Klingon language is I don't speak.
Wow,
Klingon.
amazing.
But by the way, Klingon is also now a real language. Like people
I
have
know.
like fleshed it out into a real language.
Same with like the language
the
Elven,
Elven language. Yeah.
like Elvish.
Yeah,
whatever
Elvish,
it's called.
right, from Lord of the Rings, right? So now
people have too much time in their hands.
and so no
little
bullshit.
bit.
People have done stage shows of Macbeth in Klingon.
That's dope.
and they dress up as Klingons and do Macbeth
It's
in
like
Klingon.
someone wrote Star Wars in Shakespearean and
Yeah.
they put that on a
If you're
stage
into
plays.
something, someone
So-
else is also gonna be into it. That's
And
just what I'm learning from
Adaptation
today.
is the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
Like it's a beautiful thing to see what you can do with an IP and just mold it anywhere.
And by the way, having seen snippets of Macbeth in Klingon, like there is something to be said about hearing it in Klingon. Like it does kind of
Tis a dagger
make it
you
a
see
lot
before
darker.
me. Compact.
Yeah,
It just sounds like a choking on something.
Yeah.
it
That
kind
was
of
your
does.
excellent
Yeah.
Klingon impression.
That's terrible.
Couldn't tell in all way.
I'm just coughing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
pretty much.
I
it.
don't know. I don't try and say that I know Klingon.
Yeah.
Dothraki is also a language too, which is so cool.
I would want to learn that.
It's still growing as language. I don't feel like it's.
It's not
absolutely
like
fleshed
you're
out
so
yet.
universally acclaimed as like Klingon.
No,
but,
no,
like,
no. No, it's not that. I just don't think it has the same breadth yet. I think we're still developing that. Same with Lang Belter. Like, it's still a language.
Do you reckon
that's
everyone
being
should
developed.
learn sign or like have a general basis of how to learn sign?
No, I think science should
probably
be taught. Yeah.
It
Oh,
should be,
100%.
Yeah. I always feel bad that I don't.
That's why I'm saying.
it's
I
not-
can't help you. I'm sorry.
Besides-
It's not
swear
particularly
words.
difficult though either. From like people I know have taken like classes and learnt it. It's like of just a
only
handful of
people-
classes and you're pretty proficient.
Unless the people who, like, if you're deaf, the only people that I know that actually use it who aren't deaf are people who are training to be practitioners.
yeah.
Or researchers or something. Who are in the
But I do
industry.
believe it should be something
it
that's
should-
adopted outside of that as well.
I think it should be brought into primary.
Did you
school,
guys?
just like
Did you guys
basic-
see the rap concert where someone was on stage in sign language the entire concert?
Was it
and
Snoop
it was
Dogg or was it like Wiz Khalifa who saw that and was just like he didn't think it was sign language, so he just thought the girl was like dancing to it.
Yeah.
So he's just like, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was dope. It was amazing. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
That's actually a pretty awesome clip. No, I've seen that.
That
It's
is
great.
the Pint Buddy cool human moment of the week.
Yeah.
It is a cool human
That is
moment
a
of the
cool
week.
Human moment of the week.
Ooh, that's a whole gimmick. I like that.
Yeah. Well, she
Ooh.
absolutely wins the award because she fucking nails it.
She does win.
Yeah, she absolutely
the
wins.
inaugural pint party
Yeah,
cool person of the week.
Have I told you the story of how I learnt Morse code to cheat on an exam?
Yeah. Well, you told me. I don't think you.
Wait, what the fuck?
You've told
Okay, hold on.
you've told me.
I was about to end this podcast, but I need this story before we end.
It's a short one, but it's there.
Go for it.
So I learnt with my mate in high school. We only learnt very very basic Morse code, like literally just the alphabet, right? Because it was a multiple choice exam.
That's the fucking Morse code. Is the alphabet?
No, that's what I'm saying. So we didn't learn how to construct, like we could, but it would take time. But we only needed it for the multiple choice, right? So we only just learned A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
right.
all I'm talking, like, it would literally.
Was it just you and your mate sitting
It
next
was
to
just
each
me and
other,
my
just going?
opposite ends. No, we learnt it for blinks
Oh, you're
because it was
God,
too obvious to go.
amazing.
a special
Yeah.
boy.
Hang on. Just for the people home. So instead of going, you would.
We would
blink.
do it with blinks.
That's
Right.
so much more
Amazing.
so much
conspicuous.
more complicated and harder to execute than like, but it's more subtle than just like.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Oh, then turning around and going
Right.
wink.
Yeah.
Wink, 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 wink.
We were like relatively close enough where it would make sense to just be like, drop a pencil, look over. He would be looking at me, and it would just be. Now I know no one could see that,
But
it was literally like just we would make a sound to get the other's attention, and the hardest part was referencing what question we're fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So we had to learn a number as well because it was numbered and then lettered. So we'd go number first. And then he would go, once he understood it, he would go thumbs up, like just a little like thumbs up, like under the table like that. And then we would go into the Morse code. But all of this is to say that was completely moot because in the end, when we fucking left the exam, he was like, okay, so I know you said question 4, but what the fuck letter were you hitting me with? Right? Like, what fucking letter did you hit me with? I could have sworn you wrote C, but you look like you blinked. You didn't time the blink between the dot, and then the hold. The hardest, if you know Morse code, it goes, there's dots and then there's holds.
Yep.
It is so hard to blink a hold because the certain holds either like
You have to emphasis like a
you gotta like
strain.
like that, and you gotta hold for about 3 seconds.
So basically, it looks like you're taking a really big shit.
Yes, like that is how that we needed to really accentuate the fucking points, like the dot and then the hold. So it was like like that, essentially. But fuck, no, because he walks out, he's just like, dude, that was a waste of fucking time. And we had spent, I'm not even fucking with you, a couple of weeks learning Morse code just for that one test.
So the moral of the story is,
Use
if you'd
your
have
time.
just put that effort
Yeah.
into fucking studying,
Be
you would've
studious.
absolutely
Be
fucking
better
aced the
students.
test.
Yeah, no, that's a good lesson.
Year 9.
Lessons learned.
You
Lessons
put in
learned.
what you take out, mate. Come on.
Which is nothing,
And
apparently.
I don't remember Morse code now, so
Oh,
Yeah.
So what was even the point?
that's even the
What
point.
was that's
Dude,
Just
fuck
look like you're shitty in class. That's what you want.
biology and Punnett squares. Like,
I fucking love Punnett
no,
squares.
I'm done with Punnett squares.
I
Like,
love
I'm
Punnett
done with
squares.
biology.
Well, also, I'm the science nerd who did science at uni, so, you know, that's me. Punnett squares are the best.
Fuck Punnett squares. Hashtag fuck Punnett squares.
Don't be mean to Punnett squares. They have feelings too.
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Cool.
All you need to know.
And I think we'll wrap it up there.
And we're
mitochondria.
exactly right. We're all going to go into the staff room now and bitch about our students.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit in the staff room, drink coffee, smoke cigarettes, and be like, "How about that, Jimmy? What an asshole!"
Oh, I've got him third period. Shit.
Can you believe David and Josh thought they were getting away with Morse code cheating on that exam? Fucking dickheads.
Can't believe Sally and Joe are having sex behind the portable now. That's ridiculous. They think they're being secret, but they're not.
Can they be considerate of others and just keep it down a little bit? Like, for fuck's sake.
Oh, their parents are just awful human beings.
Well, they don't know that they don't know their parents are cheating on each other with each other. So
Well,
there
that's
you
just
go.
it.
Yeah,
I see him in the
it's a-
morning. I see him drop him off and then
Mate,
head off to Sally's house.
They got some fucked up Brady Bunch shit going down with those people.
High key, just real quick, proposition to anyone listening to this. If you're someone who's had sex at school, hit us up because I'd love to know the story.
Okay.
I'd love to know stories of
Sure.
people who's had
That's
sex at
outside
school.
of Pint Party. Dave's just a freak.
He's
I'd just love to know the logistics that went into it, how you set it up, where you did it, how did you keep it subtle. Like, I'm just so interested in that
Yeah,
concept.
slide into Dave's DMs because that's just him. That's just him being a freak. That's how he gets. That's how he finishes. All right, and with that, we'll wrap it up there. So I want to thank my guests today, Lachlan, David, and JJ for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Thank you very
John.
much.
Yeet.
And if you like this episode, please share it with a friend. Share it on follow us on Spotify or on iTunes. Leave a review. Leave a funny one and I'll read it out on the show.
Check out our Instagram.
Check out our Instagram because JJ works really hard.
Keep
on
battling that Instagram.
Yeah.
She works.
She's done nothing for Twitter, but that's so. But so you can follow us on Twitter, but you won't see anything. And yeah. That's right. That's me throwing shade. Right.
Also, Twitter's pointless for podcasts, as an aside.
I think three boys in West Virginia would very much.
I'm
disagree with you.
outies.
Right. Mic drop. And with that, this has been Pint Party. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a Hartefact Network podcast. Find us at hartefactstudios.com.au.